Dr. S.I.F. Philomen Raj, MSc, MPhil PhD, retired Head Department of Physics, Madras Christian College, Tambaram, Chennai. He is presently serving as a guest lecturer in Loyola College, Nungambakkam, Chennai. He has a teaching experience of 35 years in Madras Christian College for UG and PG students. His field of research is nuclear physics and he has presented about 30 papers in symposia organized by Baba Atomic Research Center, Mumbai. He has guided 50 MPhil students and about 100 MSc students in their projects. He has authored practical physics books for MSc and BSc courses. He is presently engaged in writing a book on nuclear physics for Printers Hall, India.
Welcome to UGC lecture series in physics. We shall continue with the nuclear and particle physics. So in this session we will be discussing about elementary particles, what are the elementary particles, and the fundamental interactions. There are interactions in nature, what are the fundamental interactions, and the elementary particles, how are they classified. So the classification of the elementary particles. And we have something called particles and antiparticles. So we will be able to explain and give some example. So elementary particles, they are all fundamental building blocks of matter. So we know any material you take, it will consist of molecules, and the molecules are made up of atoms, and atom is made up of neutron, proton, electron, and then they want to break the neutron and see what happens. So is it only neutron, proton, electron, or is there more fundamental particles? So at high energy they are able to find out more particles, not only neutron, proton, electron. Therefore it's an exciting field to see what are the basic particles which are building the universe or any matter. Fundamental building blocks of matter, they are called elementary particles or fundamental particles. So any matter is made up of molecules, and the molecules are made up of atoms, and then nuclei, and then we have got neutron, proton, electron observed. Now at high energy more particles are observed. So this what we have just discussed here, said here, nuclei, neutron, proton, all in MeV energy level. When you go to higher energy level, you are able to see more particles involved, more particles, especially in the cosmic radiation where the energy is in GeV, we are able to observe more particles. Therefore we are more inquisitive about that, and we want to know how are the particles divided or classified. Now what are the fundamental interactions in nature? There are only 4 interactions in nature, or 4 types of forces in nature. So the 4 basic forces in nature in which all physics can be explained. We have got one gravitational, we have got gravitational force that we know, and then we have got Coulomb force, that is electromagnetic force between charged particles, and we have got we want to know how the neutrons and protons are held together, that is nuclear force, and there is another force called weak force. A neutrino which is carrying energy is not delivering its energy to any matter, so it's a weak force there. So these are the 4 forces in nature, and we will just go one by one. So the gravitational force was the earliest one which was established by Newton, that is the earliest one. So that is, gravitational force is between any object and earth, that is you and me, or between you and earth, me and earth. So or any object is attracted towards earth, that is gravitational force, and also between moon and earth, or sun and earth, so celestial bodies. So that is also, we know the gravitational force, and we know that any object if you throw, it will only come back to the earth. So which means it is attractive, it is never repulsive, it is only attractive. Therefore we are just putting from the observation, we are just writing the characteristics. Gravitational, it is between any object and earth, or between celestial bodies, and it is always attractive force. Now we will go to the next one. We said 4 forces, we will go to the next one, electromagnetic force, or it is Coulomb. The gravitational force was proposed and established by Newton, and this electromagnetic force by Coulomb. We know the Coulomb law of between charged particles. it can be attractive or repulsive. If two charges are identical, then they'll repel. If it is opposite, they'll get attracted. So that we know. Therefore, that observation we are just writing here. So it is between charged particles, and it can be attractive or repulsive depending on the charge. Plus and plus repulsive, minus and minus repulsive, or plus and minus attractive. These things we know. We are just giving the idea about what are the forces available in nature. These two forces are well established, gravitational and also the Coulomb force. Now we will come to the next one, which is not fully established. That is strong force, or it is a nuclear force. Say inside a nucleus, we have got neutron, proton, all held together. Now neutron is chargeless and proton is charged particle, they are held together, and even two protons are held together. All the protons are held together at a very short distance. So imagine at a short distance they are all put together. So far what we have discussed is the gravitational and the Coulomb force. Inside a nucleus, the two protons are so close, the Coulomb repulsion will be large, they will be thrown out, but yet they are bound together, which means that we are talking about the nuclear force must be attractive force. To attract proton and proton, it must be an attractive force, and it must be stronger than Coulomb force, because the Coulomb is trying to repel the two protons, but the nuclear force is putting them together. Inside a nucleus we have got many protons, they are all held together, which means there is a force which is stronger than Coulomb force, stronger than Coulomb, and also the all are held together, so it must be an attractive force. So this strong force is the force which is accounted representing the force between nucleons. We say generally nucleons, it can be between neutron or neutron proton or proton proton, all are held together. So nucleons are bound together, and therefore it is only attractive. So like gravitational, this is also attractive. Gravitational is only always attractive. Similarly, the nuclear force is always attractive, whereas the Coulomb force can be attractive or repulsive. Now the fourth force, weak force, that is experienced by neutrino. The force between neutrino and any matter. When you say weak force, when you say gravitational force, it is between two bigger objects. When you say electromagnetic force, Coulomb force, it is between two charged particles. When you say nuclear force, it is between nucleon, all the nucleons held together. So the force between nucleon. When you say weak force, it is between what? The neutrino and any matter. So the neutrino is not able to interact with any matter. We are not able to visualize that. Therefore, it is a very weak force. So the force between neutrino and any matter is a weak force. In beta decay, neutrino carries missing energy. Already beta decay we had studied, and we will just try to recall that beta particle comes out from a nucleus, and the beta particle is supposed to have some energy. Suppose what energy it has to bring out? The energy between the parent and daughter, the binding energy of the parent and daughter, the binding energy of parent and binding energy of the daughter. The difference will be the energy available for the beta particle to emerge. That will be the energy. Suppose the binding energy difference between the parent and daughter is, for example, it is 4 MeV. We expect 4 MeV. So the beta particle should come out with energy 4 MeV. But in beta decay, we observe only 2 MeV is available. Not only 1K, all the cases. Suppose the parent and daughter difference is 4 MeV, the beta particle comes out with energy half of that, 2 MeV. Suppose the difference is 3 MeV, the beta particle comes out with energy 1.5 MeV, which means everywhere there is some missing part, missing energy. So the beta is able to carry only half of the energy, and according to Pauli's hypothesis, there is a particle neutrino which is accompanying beta particle. Beta doesn't come alone. Along with beta, always get neutrino. Along with beta minus, we get what we call antineutrino, along with beta plus we get neutrino. Therefore, that neutrino is carrying the missing energy, because 4 MeV is supposed to carry, beta is carrying 2 MeV, the neutrino is carrying 2 MeV. So that is the missing energy. We are not able to use that energy, missing energy. That neutrino carries the energy, but it is not delivering to any object. It comes out, if you have a detector, it is not able to detect. We are not able to detect the neutrino, which means it is not delivering the energy. It is not able to interact. Neutrino carries energy but no interaction. No interaction. Therefore, we say it is a weak force. It is not able to deliver the energy. Therefore, the force between the neutrino particle and any matter is a weak one. Therefore, it is a weak force. Now, in order to find out, to detect the neutrino, the energy carried by the neutrino has to be detected. We are not able to detect neutrino easily because of the weak interaction, weak force, very weak interaction. We have got that International Neutrino Observatory, INO, set up in Theni in Madurai district, and it is an international neutrino observatory, and there we are not producing any neutrino. So it is not going to give any harm to anyone. The neutrino observatory is only trying to detect the already existing neutrino. There are neutrinos coming from along with the cosmic radiation. We have got neutrinos coming. All other particles from the cosmic ray, other day we studied about cosmic ray, all other particles as they come, they interact with the atoms of the atmosphere, they give gamma and then E plus E minus, all that, they lose energy at the sea level when they come to sea level. But this neutrino, that also comes along with the in the cosmic ray shower, that is not losing energy, that is just going deep into the earth. It is going, and it can also leave the earth and go the other side. Along the diameter it can travel and go. Therefore, they are set up a lab where it is down inside a tunnel, down they are setting a detector for detecting the energy of the neutrino and the other characteristics of the neutrino. That is INO in Theni, and this aims to detect neutrino. So it goes to the under the earth, because here we have got so many other radiations like gamma and also visible light. All that distraction is there. Therefore, we won't be able to find out the energy of the neutrino. When you go underneath a large distance down, at a depth, we don't have any disturbance of the outside world. There, the energy of the neutrino will become available. It will become detectable. That is the aim. So we have just said about the 4 types of forces. Now we will just go further. More characteristics of these 4 forces: gravitational, electromagnetic, nuclear force and weak force. Like a tabular column we have just put up. So the interaction or the forces are 4 types: gravitational, Coulomb, strong and weak, as we have just mentioned. For the gravitational, what is the form of force? F is equal to gmm by r squared. This is well established, even in school we have studied. This is Newton's law of gravitation. So gmm by r squared, where g is gravitational constant and m is mass of one object, m is mass of the other object, and r is the distance between the 2 masses. And here the concept is, according to quantum field theory, any force, there is a particle involved in any force. So in this gravitational force, this is the form of the force, and the particle involved is graviton. It is called graviton. Graviton is the particle involved. And what is the characteristic of that particle? It has got mass 0, m equal to 0, mass equal to 0. And when you come to Coulomb force, or that is electromagnetic force, there again the form is F is equal to Q1 Q2 by 4 pi epsilon 0 r squared. This is well established, and this is Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law. So where Q1 and Q2 are the 2 charges, and 4 pi epsilon 0 is the constant, or epsilon 0 is the permittivity of free space, and r is the distance between the two charges we are talking about. Now here this q1 q2, if it is both are plus we get repulsive, if both are minus we get repulsive, if it is plus and minus we get attractive. That's why he said it can be attractive or repulsive depending on the charge of q1 q2, whereas in the gravitational mass there is no negative mass, so we get always only attractive. This is force is always attractive. Now here for the Coulomb force, the field particle is photon. Photon is the particle involved in electromagnetic radiation. See, we get radiation, electromagnetic radiation from sun. Light is coming and it reaches earth, and there must be a particle which should carry the energy from sun to earth. That particle is photon. Photo is light, so the photon is a particle which is responsible in carrying the energy from sun to earth or between any objects. So that is the field particle for Coulomb force or electromagnetic force. And here the particle photon mass is m equal to 0, mass is 0. Now we go to the strong force. The strong force is the nuclear force we said. And here we have put a question mark because this force, the form of the force is still not well established. Yukawa gave one formula, Yukawa potential, that is also to some extent serving the purpose, but it is not completely established. So in that Yukawa potential, already we have derived also, we get one constant there. That constant is not yet derived. Therefore, we are not able to use that in calculating the nuclear force. See, whereas if we go here, gravitational force, G is the gravitational constant which was well established. So Newton gave this formula. Just with this formula we will not able to do any purposeful work, but G has to be determined. G was determined. If you remember in schools we studied, G was determined by Boy's method and also Cavendish method. G was determined, and therefore it becomes useful, and we are able to use this formula for calculating the force between moon and earth and all other things. Similarly here, this 4 pi epsilon 0, 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 was established, found out to be 9 into 10 power 9. We are not going into detail, so which means we are just telling it has been established. Here in the strong force we have got the Yukawa potential. There is a constant involved. We are not writing the equation. We have got a constant involved, but that constant is yet to be established. Therefore, we are not able to use that. So still there is a question mark. And here the field particle is meson, and Yukawa gave this formula which we are not this Yukawa potential, and he proposed there must be a particle called meson which is responsible, field particle for a strong interaction, and the mass of that must be 140 MeV. That is, we are writing mass in terms of energy. Actually E equal to mc squared, so my energy by c squared will be mass. So we are writing in terms of MeV. So this particle Yukawa meson was only proposed by Yukawa, and later on this meson was discovered in cosmic radiation. Now it is established, m equal to 140. Now for the weak force, again it is not established. The form of force is not established, and the field particle is established. We get intermediate boson, W boson, it is called W boson, intermediate boson, and this is responsible for the weak force, and we get the mass 83 GeV. This is on theoretical, as Yukawa proposed this was proposed also, like 83 GeV, and this is the situation we have, and with this we will just go further. So the gravitational force as a form we have just now said, and the Coulomb force as a form, established form. See, the strong force has no form as set. The strong force is a nuclear force. The nuclear force has no form as set, and so we can just say strong force has no form as set, nuclear force has no form as set. So the strong force and nuclear force are same. So the nuclear force between neutron, 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 proton and proton, proton are same. And therefore, it must be charge independent, because here neutron is chargeless, proton has got positive charge, but all the forces are same, which means it must be a charge independent force. It does not depend on charge. So another question which arose is, the gravitational force is also charge independent. So the gravitational force doesn't depend on charge, it depends only on the mass. Therefore, people thought it could be gravitational force between neutron and proton. They are held together because of gravitational force. So they started calculating what is the force. So the gravitational force also charge independent, but when they calculated, they found that it is negligible. The magnitude is negligible when compared to the Coulomb force. Between two proton there is Coulomb repulsion, and between two proton there is gravitational attraction. But the gravitational attraction is negligible compared to Coulomb repulsion, and therefore gravitational force cannot account for the binding nature. That is what we just put up here. Fg, that is gravitational force, gm by r squared, and we are just substituting the standard values. So for G, capital G, gravitational constant 6.67 10 power minus 11, and mass, that is here we are calculating mass of two nucleons, neutron and proton. So they are in the order 10 power minus 27. So we are just writing 10 power minus 27, 10 power minus 27, because it can be neutron proton or proton proton or neutron proton. So the order is same. And at the internucleon distance, which is 10 power minus 15 meter. So 10 power minus 15 meter squared. So if you substitute this, I am getting numerator 10 power minus 64 and 10 power minus 30 at the denominator, and we get 10 power minus 34. That is the force, the newtons, so many newtons we get, which is attractive, gravitational, 10 power minus 34. At internuclear distance, we get at a distance of 10 power minus 15. So you just remember, we will go to the next slide. Fg, the gravitational force between two nucleons, is 10 power minus 34. Just keep in mind, here we will calculate the Coulomb repulsive force. The Coulomb repulsion between the protons will be Fc equal to Q1 Q2 by 4 pi epsilon 0 r squared. And here the 4 pi epsilon 0 r squared, 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 is 10 power, roughly 10 power 10. So we have just written here. The charges between two proton, the charge is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. So the order we are writing as 10 power minus 38. We are only thinking of the order. R squared, so r squared is 10 power, r is 10 power minus 15. So r squared 10 power minus 30 we get. So if we substitute, I will be getting 10 power 2. So the Coulomb repulsion is 10 power 2 Newton, whereas the gravitational was 10 power minus 34. So you see the difference. Therefore, gravitational is not responsible for holding the nucleons together. So that is the end statement we make. Fg is much smaller than Fc. The gravitational is much smaller than the Coulomb. Therefore, Fg cannot account for nuclear binding. Now we will go to the next one. Nuclear force should be more than must be able to more than compensate repulsive Coulomb force. So the force must be more than compensate. So if it is just compensating, it will be loosely bound. If the attraction is equal to repulsion, then it will be bound. But here it is held together. So the nuclear force should more than compensate the repulsive Coulomb force. Thus, that nuclear force is much greater than the Coulomb force. Nuclear force is much greater than Coulomb force for the binding nucleons. Nuclear force is strong but short ranged. It is short range, we say, because when the nuclear between two protons there is very good attraction within the nucleus, but once the proton comes out, they get repelled. So the nuclear force is falls to zero within the nuclear radius. It is not able to come, the range is not able to come out of the nucleus, which means within 10 power minus 15 meter, the force is so strong and becomes zero, because the nuclear force is not felt outside the nucleus. Now weak force, again the weak force has no form as set. So we have just said about the nuclear force. To some extent we have got some idea, but the weak force has no form as set. Now we will go to the classification of elementary particles. So we find, as we said, we are able to find large number of particles involved. So we just see how you can classify them. The classification, they are classified based on mass, interaction and spin. Mass of the particle, interaction of the particle and spin of the particle. There are three headings under which they are classified. When you say mass, photons are massless. Then we get massless particle, then particles with mass, and then medium mass, heavy mass. So we go that way. Photons are massless. Similarly, gravitons also massless. Then we got the next is leptons, light particles. Light particles with the mass much smaller than mass of the electron. Mass of electron lower than mass of electron or equal to mass of electron. Example will be beta particle, positron, E plus, this is positron, and neutrino and antineutrino. These are all light particles. Electron and positron have got mass equal to mass of electron, but a neutrino has got much smaller mass. So they are called leptons. Light particles are called leptons. Then we got mesons. L is for light, very light particles. And mesons are medium mass. M you can take for medium mass particles. Then when you get medium mass, here the mass is between 200 times mass of electron to 1000 times mass of electron. So examples will be pi meson. Pi mesons are called pions. Mu mesons are called muons. K mesons are called kaons. So here the mass will be 273 Me, 200 Me and 970 Me. So we are getting, these are all medium mass particles. Then we have baryons. Baryons are heavy particles like neutron and proton. Neutron and proton are baryons, heavy particles. Here the mass will be about 2000 times mass of the electron. So example will be neutron, proton. Then we have got hyperons. Hyperons, which they are all heavy particles, much heavier. So here it is about 2000 Me, but here it is much greater. Heavy particles mass much greater than 2000 Me. So here we have got example lambda, sigma, psi. So these particles, they decay in 0.9 nanosecond, 10 power minus 9 second. Very short duration they decay. So only in cosmic radiation they found out these particles, but they decay at a fast rate. So all the particles involved here, only neutron, proton, electron, they are easily understandable because in any atom we have got these things. But these hyperons, they are all outcome of the studies in cosmic radiations. Now based on interaction, we said it can be classified based on interaction. Hadrons, hard, we can remember the word hard. Hadrons are involved in strong interactions, high energy. So H is for high energy. So they are called high energy particles, hadrons. That's what we have got in LHC, Large Hadron Collider. Hadron is high energy particle because in the hadron, in CERN experiment, the particles involved are going to GeV and more than that. We can talk about based on spin. Based on spin, they can be classified like bosons and fermions. Bosons are follow Bose-Einstein statistics, BE statistics. So here they will have integral value of spin, S equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. So integral value of spin. Example will be photon, graviton. Fermions have half odd integral spin. See, this is odd number 1, 3 odd number, 5 odd number. So half of the odd number. So 1 by 2, 3 by 2, 5 by 2, etc. So these are fermions, they obey Fermi-Dirac statistics. So here example will be neutron, proton, E plus, E minus. Now we will just say what are particles and antiparticles. Particles, see, E plus and E minus are particle and antiparticle. They come together and annihilate each other. The particles come together and vanish. So they are particle and antiparticle. So example will be E plus, E minus, vanish and they produce photon. Dirac proposed this positron, which is antiparticle of electron, and it was discovered in cosmic ray and he got Nobel for this prediction. Antiparticle, they have mass, spin and half-life same. It will have same. But charge, magnetic moment will be opposite. And Tz is opposite. The Tz is nothing but spin. Z component of spin. Spin is opposite. They are called isospin particles. Same particles of same spin. Neutron and proton, particles of same spin. Electron and positron. Neutron, proton, it's not particle and antiparticle. I am just telling they are particles of same spin. Electron and positron will have same spin, T equal to half. If electron is taking plus half, positron will take minus half. So they will take opposite. So the production, they are produced in pairs and they annihilate in pairs. So these are the examples of the observed particles and antiparticles. So we have discussed the fundamental interactions in nature and the classification. So we made a mention of particles and antiparticles, and we have few questions for the day. Mention the field particle involved in each interaction. Classify the elementary particle in terms of mass, interaction and spin. What are particles and antiparticles? Give examples. Thank you.